What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's undisputed world title fight at 168 pounds between the champion Canelo Alvarez and the two-time undisputed four-division world champion Terence Crawford. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Go down to the bottom of your screen right now, find the little bell, click that so you never miss a video. Also, become a member of our Johnny Says Boxing Insider VIP membership. With that membership, you get more access on the channel. You get features and shout outs on my daily live streams. But more importantly, you get access to my professional boxing, betting, gambling Discord. In that Discord, we got pro bettors. We feature boxing, MMA. It's football season, so I just launched in the Discord NFL and college football. It's only a couple bucks a month, guys. So become a member now. That link is pinned in the comments section below. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time, just like a lot of you. We knew that it was coming. It wasn't official probably until about 6-7 months ago, but Bud was talking about this fight dating all the way back to 2023. After he defeated Errol Spence Jr., he went on Joe Rogan's podcast and talked about it. And I remember the look in Rogan's eyes when Crawford said he wanted to fight Canelo, and Rogan initially agreed with him, and then he said, hold on, what are you talking about? At what weight class? And Bud said 168. And Joe just couldn't believe it. Crawford knew all along this is the fight he wanted. We know with Bud, champion at 35, 40, 47, 54. We know with Bud, first male fighter to become undisputed in two different divisions, 40 and 47. We know with Canelo, King Canelo, he's been the man at 168. Seems like forever. He has all the belts. So in this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We're gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business. I'm gonna talk about path to victories for both men. And like always in these Stats Don't Lie videos, wait to the very end because that's where I'm gonna be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, I have to start this segment of the show with a sort of acknowledgement. There are many YouTubers, many content creators, former boxers who have massive followings. And it's in those followings that boxing fans rely on them for them to give their expert opinion on who is going to win said fight. More importantly, with the day and age of gambling apps, the sports culture seemingly internationally accepting being able to bet on fights, you would expect that these huge influencers, former fighters, would be giving their expert opinion on where to put your money without any bias, a non-opinionated approach. But all week, that's not the case. And I'm gonna get into that a little bit. Last night, All the Smoke did a podcast. It was an interview between Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr., two of my favorite fighters coming up, two very well-respected men in the sport, and two guys that pop through to the ethos of pop culture, so people rely on them for their expert opinion. In that interview, you hear Roy Jones Jr. say, in terms of Canelo versus Bud, that weight classes don't matter. Roy also went on to say that come fight night, Bud's body is going to tell him what to do. And when I was watching that, when I was listening to that, it just kind of reiterated my fact that this is one of those fights that cracks through into the mainstream. It's on Netflix, it's live streamed, you don't have to get the pay-per-view, you just need a Netflix account. My point is the whole world will be watching this fight. This fight more than any other fight. You would think that people would be telling you who's going to win based on statistics, based on method of victories, based on stylistic matchups. But that's not the case. This has become a very divisive argument. People are picking Canelo because they love Canelo. People are picking Bud because they hate Canelo or because they love Bud. That's not where you're gonna get here. I should also say Bud's been one of my favorite fighters. Going into the Errol Spence Jr. fight, I did the breakdown. EJ was my favorite fighter, and I said that I was cheering for Errol, but I was betting on Bud Crawford. I remember when he went to the UK at 135 and beat Ricky Burns. I remember the fights at 140, his time at 147, obviously the EJ fight, the Madrimov fight when he went up to 154. All of it has led to this moment. Crawford is a guy who could switch hit. We know how he operates. People are expecting a Bud Crawford to kind of look like Mayweather and implement that game plan to defeat Canelo. If that's what you're expecting, people lied to you. Bud is not a mover like Mayweather. Bud is not a slick defensive guy like Mayweather. Crawford is going to go after Canelo like he's always gone after his opponents. You'd have to go back to 2016 to find a fight in which Bud outboxed one of his opponents. I reference that because with Canelo, all week, all month, I've asked, how is Bud going to win? I've asked Bud Crawford fans, how do you see Bud winning? And don't just tell me Bud's a dog. Bud's a savage. He's just going to beat up Canelo. That's not what the sport is about. That is a casual take. I want to know, analytically, I want to know a game plan. How does Crawford beat Canelo? And the only logical explanation that I've been told, maybe you've heard something different. If you had, let me know in the comment section below. People are saying Bud is going to outbox Canelo. I go, what are you talking about? Since when does Bud outbox any of his opponents? That is not his style. But there is one example, like I said already, Victor Postal, 2016, 9 years ago, at 140 pounds, the last time that Crawford outboxed his opponent, meaning that using setups, using traps, using the whole ring. Since then, this is not how he operates. He gets on his front foot, he wants to bully his opponents, he wants to neutralize their offense, and he wants to trade, he wants to counter, and he wants to fight you in the pocket. That is going to be a dangerous proposition against Canelo Alvarez. Why? Because guess what, Roy? Weight classes do matter. Canelo Alvarez has fought the majority of his career at 168. Is he undersized at 168? One can say. Has he ever been dropped? No. Has he ever been knocked out? No. Has he gone up against some of the biggest punchers in this era? Yes. Who were way bigger than Bud Crawford. So with that being said, the fight is going to take place in the pocket. This is Bud's path to victory. He's not going to be able to operate and use the entire ring the entire time. Don't expect a William Skull performance from Canelo. Expect a performance in which kind of what Billy Joe Sanders tried to do against Canelo, and it was working until it didn't work. Think about Khan years ago. Was working until it didn't work. I feel the Amir Khan fight was more of a setup and a trap that Canelo laid on Khan for a couple rounds, gave him a false sense of security in the middle of the ring, and boom, that beautiful viral one-punch knockout. So you then have to think about who's going to have the hand speed advantage, who's going to have the power advantage. People are saying Bud's going to have the hand speed advantage. What version of Bud was the fastest? Was it 54 against Madrimov? I mean, people would say Madrimov, he got a short end of the stick on the decision. I disagree. Bud won that fight. I had it 8-4. If you want to be kind, you could say 7-5. Bud beat Madrimov handily at 154. Was that version the fastest version we saw of Bud? I mean, was the version against EJ the fastest version we saw of Bud? I say you have to go to probably 140 to see Bud's hand speed at its best. This fight is at 168. He hasn't been at 140 in years. He'll be 38 in a few months. We have to remember, as we get older, the things that wear, the things that degrade is our speed and reflexes. We saw that against Madrimov. Bud was getting caught with that backhand time and time again, trying to parry the shots, staying in the pocket, wasn't moving his head. That's another thing I've seen in Crawford's style over the last few years is that he gets hit a lot more, doesn't move his head a lot. I feel the bravery, the ego, the dog in Bud. If that's going to be his game plan, it's a dangerous proposition. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at Bud and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Crawford's 41-0 with 31 knockouts. He's not currently ranked due to his inactivity on BoxRec. He's fought a total career of 245 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 76% career knockout to win ratio. He's still listed as the WBO interim world super welterweight champion. His adoring fans know him as Bud. The American is a 5'8" southpaw with a 74-inch reach. We know he switch hits. He could go ortho, he could go southpaw. He has power in both hands. That's one of the things that make him special. He was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, USA. We last saw him fight Madrimov 10-0. He won a UD in the 12th. That was at 54. EJ 28-0, stopped him in the 9th. Evanesian 29-3, stopped him in the 6th. Porter 31-3, stopped him in the 10th. Brook 39-2, stopped him in the 4th. Mean Machine 21-0, stopped him in the 9th. Bud Crawford, like I said, is one of the most exciting fighters to watch. He's been one of my favorite fighters to watch throughout his career. I've been with him since he was at 35, 40, 47, 54 now. Like I told you, at one time on my channel not too long ago, you guys used to come on my channel and accuse me of being a Crawford fanboy. I used to get accused on the channel of Johnny Says Boxing is a pro Crawford channel, and it's pretty interesting to kind of hear that. Just because I like a guy and I promote a guy and I talk about how he operates doesn't mean I'm a fanboy. If you're a fan of boxing, it's pretty hard not to be a fan of Crawford. And the same can be said about Canelo. Canelo's career, the legacy, everything he's done, the longevity. Both of these guys started their careers years ago. Canelo's 35, went pro as a teen. This is a guy who's been in there with some of the greats in multiple divisions as well. The longevity Canelo has brought to the game. People who said they weren't excited about this matchup, I guarantee if they were sitting right here on my couch right now, I could ask them, are they excited? And they'd say, hell yes. Right now, let's look at Canelo Alvarez and see what he's been up to in his career. Canelo is 63-2-2 with 39 knockouts. Like I said, of his 2 losses, he's never been stopped. He's never been dropped. Out of 1,795 fighters in the world at 168, he's ranked number 1. He's fought a career total of 520 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 62% career knockout to win ratio. He is the undisputed world champion at 168 pounds. His adoring fans know him as Canelo. The 35-year-old Mexican is a 5'8" orthodox fighter with a 71-inch reach. He was born in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, but calls Sherman Oaks, California, USA home. We last saw him fight William Skull, 23-0, UD in the 12th. Berlanga, 22-0, UD in the 12th. Munguia, 43-0, UD in the 12th. Charlo, 35-1, UD in the 12th. Ryder, 32-5, UD in the 12th. Before that, he fought Golovkin, and before that, he lost to Bivol. His only other loss was early on against Floyd Mayweather when he was young. He was 23 years old. Then we've watched Canelo grow since then. We've watched him add elements to his game. You really want to learn boxing and focus and study a guy who levels up from taking a loss. Watch Canelo before Floyd and watch him after Floyd. Great head movement. When he's cooking, when he's in his prime, he is a lot to deal with. Both guys are not in their prime anymore. That's fine. That should not be controversial. One's 35, like I said, Bud's gonna be 38. Neither guy's the fastest they've ever been. Neither guy's the strongest they've ever been. With Bud, he is the biggest he's ever been, but with Canelo, Canelo will be the biggest guy Bud's ever fought. Canelo will be the biggest puncher Bud's ever fought. Canelo will be the most experienced fighter Bud has ever fought. What does Bud bring to Canelo that Canelo has never seen? This is a question you guys must answer if you're betting on this fight. You guys come to my channel to get my non-biased opinion on where to put your hard-earned money. I would be ill-advised if I just told you to bet on Bud because I'm a huge fan. I'd be ill-advised to say bet on Canelo because he's my favorite fighter. If you guys have been with me for a while, you respect me for my approach. So what I'm gonna tell you before I give my breakdown and prediction, I wanna remind everybody that I do live streams every day. In those live streams, we go over method of victory bets. We go over prop bets. We do our parlays. We talk about how the fight's gonna end, knockdown props. You have to join our Discord to get those props. In these Stats Don't Lie videos, you're only gonna get my money line prediction. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out your betting apps. I'm gonna pull out my book right now, and currently on the money line, Canelo Alvarez is a $1.59 favorite, meaning 100 on Canelo gets you your money back plus 59. The draw is 14-1. That's pretty low considering this fight. A lot of money is coming back on the draw. You could tell it's usually somewhere around 17, 18-1. Bud is an underdog at $2.60, meaning you put 100 on Bud just to win. You get your money back plus 160 bucks. I gotta be honest with you, when I put the poll up on our YouTube page last night, I want to say over 1,000 of you voted. Hats off to you guys. I appreciate it. That's a huge percentage of the total subscribers on my channel. It's about 55-45 for Canelo, kind of what the odds suggest as well. When I started filming this video, my Twitter was going crazy, and there's news that is breaking saying that Bud Crawford has had a shoulder injury in fight camp. I don't know how much of that is true. Not Just Boxing tweeted it. I just want to mention it, said that his surgically repaired shoulder is acting up. I should mention, I don't know one fighter ever. I've never met one boxer or MMA fighter who ever went into a fight at 100%. So I want to reference that. Since that news broke, the odds have crashed. Last night, you could have got Canelo at $1.75. He's down to $1.59. So my point is, if you want to go heavy on Canelo, you should put your bets in now. Whether that news is real or not, I guarantee those odds are going to continue to crash in Canelo's favor, with Bud being a bigger underdog. Now, where I'm putting my money, like I said, I talked about it on my live streams all week, how I said that I was a bigger Bud fan than Canelo. One of the boys asked, Johnny, why aren't you a fan of Canelo? And I had to reiterate to him, I'm not a Canelo hater. It's just that growing up the way I was raised in Northeast Ohio, watching Crawford, when we watch our favorite fighters or we see something that we admire in a fighter, it's usually something a bit more personal. It's not always a fight style. With Crawford, I've always admired how he's operated. I've always admired how he's had that chip on his shoulder. When you look back to his days with Arum at Top Rank, he was getting shelved. He was talk about it very vocally that they wouldn't support him. If he wasn't fighting in Omaha, he'd have to travel overseas to the UK multiple times as the B-side to get his flowers. Even the Errol Spence Jr. fight, him and EJ had to get on the phone and do business to get that fight, and it's been only over the last few years since then that you're starting to see him break through into the mainstream as a pop culture sort of figure, which I think he deserves it. Crawford is one of the best in his era. I think the hill is a lot to climb. Like I said, Andre, I disagree with you. Roy, I disagree with you. 21 pounds is insane. Bud's not a junior middleweight. He had one fight at 54, so you can't say he's going up 2 weight classes. Crawford is a welterweight, 47, going up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds to 168. I feel Bud should have took a fight at 60 before he went to 68. Now, that division isn't that deep. He could have found somebody, a non-champion, to take a quote-unquote tune-up fight before Canelo. You mix Canelo's size, his activity, the dude stays active. Don't expect what you saw against Skull versus Bud. I feel that was an abomination. I feel the whole world, Canelo's world and Bud's world, knew that all Canelo needed to do was get through Skull unscathed, take as little damage as possible, which he did, to set up this fight. And here we go. This fight is going down. I told you guys yesterday on my live stream, I'll be cheering for Bud. I hope Bud does it. If he does come out victorious, he'll be the first ever 3-division undisputed champion. He'll become a 5-division world champion. Where I'm putting my money, I'm going Canelo. I'm cheering for Bud, but I can't sit here and tell you to put your money on Bud. I don't see a path to victory. I don't see him outboxing Canelo, and I definitely don't see him hurting Canelo. I think Canelo's power in the pocket, I think his body work, his lead hook, we saw that hook against Berlanga, we saw the backhand against Munguia, we saw the uppercut against Billy Joe, his punch selection, and his overall generalship in the division. I'm very comfortable with a Canelo Alvarez victory. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. This is not an echo chamber. Like I said in the comment section below, you did not have to agree with me. I expect a lot of you guys not to agree with me. How do you see this one going, Canelo or Bud? Also, guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of another fun fight on this card, it's an actual rematch between Serhiy Bohacek and Brandon Adams. Stay tuned because that's coming up right now.